Finding Places portfolio. I'm Mrs. C. I'm an ELL teacher at Florida Connections Academy. Let's get started on your portfolio that you will complete and turn into your teacher. Let's look at your lesson to see how we should begin. Finding Places portfolio. In this lesson, you will create a map of your neighborhood. Read the Finding Places portfolio rubric with your partner. So we're going to read this rubric together after we make our map to check and ensure that we have everything. If you click on it right here, you can open and review it with your learning coach as well. Here is our objective. This is what we want to do. Apply map skills, that means use your map skills, to create a neighborhood map. You will have 2 days to complete this lesson, so you can do it in 2 parts. To help make your map, review what you have learned about map parts. Reread pages 90 through 93 and pages 94 through 95 of My World Social Studies, We Do Our Part with Your Partner. So if you click right here, that will bring up your book and you can read it together. I'll also read it right now with you. So I'm starting on page 90, all about maps. Maps can show many different things. A map can show natural things such as land and water. A map can also show things that people have put on the land such as road and buildings. Why do we use maps? Maps show information about an area. There are different kinds of maps. Using parts of a map. Point to the map title and the map below. So right here's the title, Rock Trail. It tells what place the map shows. Now look at the map. The map uses pictures to stand for real things. These pictures are called symbols. So right down here you can see there's a key, and this key explains what some of these symbols on the map mean. All right, let's go to the next page. Cardinal directions. This is a compass rose. It shows 2 kinds of directions. Cardinal directions are the 4 main directions. These are north, south, east, and west. Look at the compass rose. The letters N, S, E, and W stand for north, south, east, and west. You're going to need a compass rose on your map. So if you're not sure what it looks like, you can come back and look at this page again. All right, there are also intermediate directions, but you're not going to need to add those to your map. So you can read that with your learning coach, but you don't have to worry about including those. This page talks about a map scale. So this map of Florida obviously is not as big as the real thing, right? We walk around Florida every day. This is itty, itty bitty. You could hold this map in your hand. So a scale shows you how large a small distance on this map actually equals. So you can read about the map scale with your parent or your caretaker as well. All right, so let's get back to your lesson. What places will you include on your map? Look at the map on the bottom of page 92 of your textbook for ideas. So that was that map that we were just reading about. Finding Places neighborhood map. Create a map of your neighborhood. Include a title, that's something you must have, a compass rose with the 4 cardinal directions, and a map key with symbols. So those are 3 things you must have on your map. When you're done with your map, write 2 to 3 sentences that describe your map. Here's the rubric again. If you want to review it, we'll also review it together in this video. So here are some more detailed directions for how you should complete your map. You're going to need materials like paper, pencil, crayons, or markers. You can also use construction paper, scissors, glue, a word processing program to practice your typing. But remember, you do want to use your very best handwriting as well. So think about the places in your neighborhood that you would like to use on your map. Then create your map. You can use crayons, markers, pencils, construction paper, any of those materials that you have at home. Label the streets on your map, and you want to include that title, that compass rose, and the map key. Remember that the symbols in the map key should match the symbols that you've drawn on your map. So make your map first and then make your key. Don't make your key and then make your map. Do it the other way around. That way you know what you need in your key. All right, when you're done with your map, you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences that describe the map. You're going to include the absolute location of the student's home. the relative location of the student's home, and an explanation of your favorite place in your neighborhood, including its location in relation to your home. Those are a lot of big words. Let's go back to your book and let's read a little bit about absolute location and relative location. So they're right here on pages 86 and 87. Relative location tells where something is by comparing it to something else. Location words like above, below, next to, near, and far tell the relative location of people, places, and things. Absolute location is different. The address on a letter tells the absolute location of a place, such as a home or school. An absolute location is the exact spot where a place is located. So your absolute location is your address. So this is a great lesson if you don't already have your address memorized to practice that. And I'll show you a fun way that you can practice in just a moment. Okay, so before we look at our rubric, let's go ahead and get started and look at a map example. I've got a title at the top. I didn't make a very detailed one because I just wanted a generic example, something anyone could look to for ideas. So you might want to give yours a more fun or a more detailed name, but I named my map My Neighborhood. So that's my title. Remember, that was one of the things we needed to include. I also have my house on the map. That's very important. And I labeled the streets. So again, I just used names that are not really real, but names that anyone could use for just to see how to do theirs. So this is House Street. This is Little Road, and this is Main Circle. Remember, street names in your neighborhood, they might end with Avenue, Boulevard. There's all sorts of street endings. So you're going to want the name and then whatever street ending you have. And then I've got a lot of different locations on my map. I have my house, of course. I have mailboxes up here. If you weren't sure what those were, look, here's my key. This symbol means my house. This symbol means mailboxes. I've also got this playground over here. So I put the swing set, that equals the playground. And I've got a stop sign over here. So that stop sign is right down here. That's my symbol as well. So here's my drawing of my map. This is the first part of your portfolio. If you want to complete this on day one and then stop, that's a really good stopping point because next we're going to write about our map. All right, another thing that I included, that's right, I almost forgot, is the cardinal rows. Remember, we didn't have to include the intermediate directions, but we did need to include the cardinal directions. So that's north, south, east, and west. So we've got all three things we needed. We've got our neighborhood, we've got our key showing the different locations we drew, and we've got our compass rose. This is a good stopping point for day one because the next day you're going to be writing about your map quite a bit. All right, let's go back to your lesson just to make sure we haven't missed anything so far. Okay, so here is what we're going to need to include in our writing. Let's just review it really quick again in case you're picking up on day two and starting right here. It says we will write 2 to 3 sentences that describe the map. You will include the absolute location of your home, the relative location of your home, and an explanation of your favorite place in your neighborhood. And you're going to use relative location again to explain where it is in relation to your home. So I've got an example right here that I wrote about my map. This is a great activity to do on the second day. I wrote 4 sentences. You only need 2 to 3. So I wrote one extra, but I just felt like I needed it to get all of that information there. So remember, the absolute location is the address, the absolute location of your home. So I wrote, the absolute location of my house is 123 House Street, Townland, Florida, 34728. If you don't have your address memorized, the way I like to teach it is with a song. So I believe it's hot cross buns, and it goes 1, 2, oh wait, that's not right. Hold on. Hot cross buns. I was just singing it to myself. 1, 2, 3, House Street, Townland, Florida, Townland, Florida, 34728. 34728. So you repeat some parts, but it's really good. It's catchy, and it will help you remember your own address. It's a way I've taught many students and my own children to memorize their address. So if you don't know the absolute location of your home yet, go ahead and practice that hot cross bun song. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, House Street, Townland, Florida, Townland, Florida, 34728. 34728. And that's a good way to memorize your address. But okay, that's my first sentence I wrote. My next sentence is about relative location. The relative location of my house is near my neighborhood's mailboxes. So let's just check our map and make sure that that information is correct. Remember, you can use words like near, far, above, below. So right here is my house, and the closest thing in my neighborhood are the community mailboxes. So yeah, that's near, right? That's close by. So that's relative location. Make sure your sentences match whatever you drew on your map. Okay, so we've got 2 out of the 3 things we need. Now we need to write about the favorite place, right? My favorite place is the playground. So here I already have 3 sentences, but I didn't get to tell where the playground is with relative location. So I had to write a 4th one. I wrote, you must go down to the stop sign and turn right to visit the playground. So let's look at that map. If I leave my house, I've got to go down House Street, down Little Road, stop at the stop sign, and then turn right down Main Circle to get to the playground. So yes, those directions are correct as well. So once we have all of that finished, remember, always double check when you think you're done with your work, always double check the rubric just to make sure you included everything. So let's look at that rubric together now. Okay, so we always want to aim for this category, right? Number 4, that means excellent. You have everything that you need. So map and title. The map clearly identifies the student's home in relation to other features in the neighborhood and includes a descriptive title. So that means make sure you have that title. The example they gave is Tom's Fantastic Neighborhood. And make sure that you've drawn other things on your map too, right? That way you can talk about the relative location when you get to your writing assignment. Let's go down to the next part. There's more. In the description, it says, the description is 2 to 3 sentences long and clearly provides the following information. So this is what you must include. The absolute location of the student's home, that's your address. The relative location of the student's home, so something that it's near or close to. An explanation of the student's favorite place in the neighborhood and where it is located in relation to the student's home. So that's just talking about where you would go or what you would do to get from your home to your favorite location. The map must also include a compass rose with all 4 cardinal directions appropriately labeled. So that's your north, south, east, and west. You must have a map key. The map includes a map key that has symbols for all of the features on the map. And double check that your punctuation, your capitalization, and your spelling are all correct. That's something you can definitely double check with your learning coach. It's okay if they help you. You can try to do the spelling on your own first, but if there are any small mistakes, your learning coach can definitely help you. Also, when you're doing that writing, make sure that every sentence begins with an uppercase or capital letter and make sure it ends with punctuation mark. Probably periods in this, unless you're really, really excited about where you live, you might use an exclamation point. Maybe I could have when I said my favorite place is the playground. If I was really excited, I could have added an exclamation point there. You're probably not going to have any question marks for your ending punctuation because you're not asking any questions. You're actually telling someone some information. So make sure you've got all of that. Make sure that you've got correct capitalization in your address as well. Remember, street names, both parts must be uppercase letters, capitalized. Cities, your abbreviation for Florida is uppercase FL, both capital letters. Make sure you've got those commas in there as well. So after my house, after my street name, I've got a comma. After the city, I've got a comma. And then, of course, I'm at the end of my sentence, so I have a period. That's not really part of the address, though. So make sure that you double check all of that with your learning coach and make sure that your capitalization, punctuation, and spelling look really, really good. I know that if you follow these steps, you are going to get an amazing grade on this portfolio, and I'm so excited to see your map and what you create. Have a great day. I will see you next time. Goodbye.